What it do? What it do? Y'all tuned in to another episode of Everything Boxing. There you go, talking that boxing again. And y'all already know what to do. When you come in the building, press on that like button, and then let me know you in the building. Jump in the comment section. Yeah, we gonna cook today. Oh yeah, y'all already know. It's finna go down today. We gonna cook. Yeah. Like I said, when you come in the building, make sure that you hit the like button and jump in the comments, let me know you in the building. War Eagle 853 was happening with it. He say, Big Bad John from the 256. Salute to you. What's good with it? Yes, sir. And yeah, we like I said, we got a whole lot to cook on today. It's going down. Chris Mitchell, what's happening with it? What's good, fam? Did you watch the fights last night, Chris? Did you watch the fights last night? That's what I want to know. I enjoyed the card. Jack Ashford, what's happening with it? Massimo TV, what's good with it? Yeah, man, I enjoyed them fights last night. I ain't even gonna lie. Though that fight card was much better than the Mayweather and Logan Paul. It was much better, way better, 10 times better. Like I said, y'all smash on my like button as you come in the building. Dwayne Mack, what's happening with it? What's good? Yes, sir. G5 Gabe, salute. What's happening with it? Oh, yeah, but yeah, definitely I enjoyed them cards. That fight card last night, it was way more entertaining to me than that Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather shit. Way more entertaining. Chris Mitchell, hey, man, you said you missed the fights last night? Yeah, you got to go back and watch it, man. I ain't going to lie. I liked that fight card. That whole card was good, man. Yeah, Jack Ashford, he had the same problem in the UFC. So that's nothing new with Tyron Woodley. That was his thing in the UFC. Actually, that was why him and Dana White was always getting into it for that very reason. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about that and, we're going to break it all down. Dear John says, Usyk beats Joshua. I got Joshua winning that fight. But, hey, another good fight we got coming up. DP Rocker, what's happening with it? Salute. Dwayne Mack, what's happening with it? Salute. Yeah. So I enjoyed the card last night. I enjoyed it. you know. And so we've been in here for 5 minutes. We're gonna get into it. Knockout Boxing 86 TV. What's happening with it? Salute to you. He said it feel like a desert in Dallas. Man, I know y'all got that humidity. Trust me, I know about D-Town. So let's go ahead and talk about the card. You know, we ain't gonna we as you come in the building, make sure that you hit the like button, but I ain't gonna keep y'all holding on no more. Let's get into it. So last night we had the Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley, you know, fight card. And to me, like I said, the whole card to me was pretty entertaining. I liked it a lot more than I did the Logan Paul and Mayweather card. Actually, shit, it was a lot more entertaining to me than a lot of, you know, official, you know, boxing cards that they put on. But let's talk about it. So the first fight I'm gonna get into, because to me it was the most boring, it was the trashiest fight on the whole card, was the Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury fought what the fuck? What was the kid's name that he fought? I gotta look up the kid name that he fought. But anyway, Tommy Fury is Tyson Fury's half brother, right? Tommy Fury's Tyson Fury's half brother, and he fought last night on the card, on the undercard. And Tommy Fury, he talk a lot. You know, he's 7-0. He has 4 KOs. Now he's 7-0. After last night, Tommy Fury is 7-0. He has 4 KOs, and he fought Anthony Taylor, right? He fought a guy named Anthony Taylor, who was, I think, Anthony Taylor at that point in time. Yeah, Anthony Taylor is now 0-2. He had one fight before that and he lost. So Tommy Fury was fighting a fucking complete, I don't want to call the dude a bum, but Tommy Fury was fighting a guy that don't even really know how to box, right? You know what I'm saying? So Tommy Fury, with his loud mouth ass, he talk a whole lot of trash, and I really had never seen him fight. So I was looking forward to seeing, you know, him back up all of that talking here he do. Tommy Fury got in there, and he didn't look no good as he didn't. To tell you the truth, Logan and Jake Paul look better than Tommy Fury. And Tommy Fury got 7 professional fights. He got 7 professional fights. Obviously, he ain't never fought nobody. It will just go down his resume, right? Because, I mean, it's only 7 fights. So I'll show y'all his resume. So the first fighter on Tommy Fury's resume has 10 wins and 102 losses. Wait, 10 wins and 102 losses, and he got 3 draws. So you done fought 115 fights and you only won 10 of them. So that's Tommy Fury's first opponent for his debut. Then he fought a guy that was 0-26. 0-26? Where are they finding these dudes at? Then he fought a dude that was 2-26. Then he fought another guy that was 0-11. Then he fought another opponent that was 0-9. Then he fought another opponent that was 2-0. And then he fought dude last night that was 0-1. So you mean to tell me that Tommy Fury is out here in these streets next to Tyson Fury, running around looking like a goddamn underwear model and shit, talking all of that damn shit, and he fighting dudes that got 100 and something L's on their record? No wonder he didn't want to fight, because I don't know if y'all remember, a while back, Marcellus Wiley was calling him out. And Marcellus Wiley was trying to set up a fight between him and himself and Tommy Fury. Now, I know why Tommy Fury didn't want to smoke with Marcellus Wiley now. Now I understand fully why Tommy Fury didn't want that smoke with Marcellus Wiley. Because Marcellus Wiley was going to end his career before it even got started. Marcellus Wiley was going to end his career before it even got started. And now I fully understand why Tommy Fury is wanting to fight guys like Jake Paul. And I'm gonna tell you like this: from what I saw last night, Tommy Fury would get his ass handed to him by Jake Paul. Jake Paul would beat the shit out of Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury ain't shit. J.A. say Tommy Fury would have got sent to the upper room. Man, I'm telling you. Derek Fulton, salute. Yeah, man. Yeah, G5 Gay, 0-26. That's the type of opponents that he fight. Dudes with that got 102 L's and 3 draws, and dudes that's 0-26. But he out here talking big shit. Like I said, I had never seen Tommy Fury fight before last night. So, yeah, I'd never seen him fight before last night. So I was like, okay, I want to see what this dude looking like. I want to see what Tommy Fury looked like. You know, he calling out Jake Paul. You know, he talking big shit. Like he just, you know, and I said he looked the part, you know, he built. So let me see what he looked like, you know. And he looked like some trash last night. Tommy Fury looked like some trash last night. He fought a dude that was 0-1, that he should have been able to get up out of there with all the shit that he talked. And he showed that he was barely a step above the dude that he fought last night. So, yeah, I understand why he fought Tommy Fury like 6'1", 6'2", and fought a guy that was 5'6" and was struggling with him. Was letting the dude that was 5'6" push him back and bully him all up against the ropes and shit. So, yeah, Tommy Fury's some trash. I understand why Tyson Fury don't have him in his training camp, right? I understand why they have 2 whole different training camps and trainers and all of that. Because Tommy Fury's some trash, and Tommy Fury is Tyson Fury's half brother. So whatever chromosome Tyson Fury got, well, that shit didn't pass down to Tommy Fury, obviously, because he ain't got it in him. He needs to go off and be an underwear supermodel or some shit like he looked like he want to be, because boxing ain't it. Like I said, boxing ain't it. He's trash. So that was a horrible fight. You know, the Tommy Fury and what's the dude that he fought again? The dude that he fought, Anthony Taylor. Yeah, the Tommy Fury and Anthony Taylor fight, that was some trash, you know. And my man Knockout Boxing 86 TV, he says Anthony Taylor was trash as an MMA fighter. So the guy that Tommy Fury fought was actually an MMA fighter. You know, they said that on the show. I didn't know until they said it. But my man Knockout Boxing said that he was trash in the MMA ring. So yeah, that was a horrible fight. But moving along, what fight? Oh yeah, let's go ahead and move along, and let's talk about the rest of the fights that was on the card. Earlier in the card, Charles Conwell, he fought. You know, he got a second round TKO. That was tight. I didn't get to see it, but I saw the highlights of it. You know, so salute to Charles Conwell here, Ohio cat. And the fight that I was looking forward to on this card, well, you know what? Before I even get into the fight that I'm really looking forward to on the card, we're going to talk about Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois, he came back and he fought last night, right? He fought, and this is Daniel Dubois' second fight in probably, let me pull up Daniel Dubois' fight resume. Hold on. 1 minute. Because Daniel Dubois, this is his second fight ever since he suffered the broken orbital bone, right, in his eye. The same injury that Kell Brook suffered, right? So Daniel Dubois, he suffered that injury in November. So basically, he suffered it less than a year ago, right? So he suffered that injury about, let me see, let's say about a little more than 9 months ago, right? Well, we in August. Let me see. Wait, no, we about to be in September. So yeah, he suffered the injury like 9 months ago, right? So Daniel Dubois, and I'm gonna make this point real quick. for you Errol Spence haters. Daniel Dubois suffered the eye injury, the same injury that Kell Brook suffered, right? He suffered the same injury 9 months ago. Since he suffered that injury, Daniel Dubois has come back and he's fought twice already, right? He's fought twice already. And he has 2 KOs. In none of those fights does he have any lingering effects of the injury, right? But everybody wants to make an excuse and talk about the only reason that Errol Spence was able to beat Kell Brook. And I know this ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about, but I'm going to make it have something to do with it, right? Now, listen to what I'm saying again. Daniel Dubois suffered the same injury as Kell Brook. Daniel Dubois has now, within 9 months, come back and he's fought twice already and had 2 KOs. So all of that shit that y'all trying to discredit Errol Spence for beating Kell Brook when Kell Brook was at the top elite of his game and saying the only reason he was able to beat Kell Brook is because Kell Brook had already suffered broken orbital bone, 10 months before that when he fought Gennady Golovkin, right? When he fought Gennady Golovkin. Kell Brook set out 10 months. Errol Spence set out 10 months waiting for him. Also, on top of that, actually, Kell Brook might have set out longer than 10 months. But I know Errol Spence waited 10 months for Kell Brook. Also, on top of that, right? He said he was fully healed. He didn't have no type of lingering effects at all. Errol Spence went in there and broke his other eye socket, right? So listen to what I'm saying. Daniel Dubois, he's come back and he's fought twice already. Not once, but 2 times. And the first fight that Daniel Dubois came back and fought, he did it within 5 months. He did it within 5 months. So throw all that shit out the window when y'all making a million excuses on why Kell Brook got stopped by Errol Spence. Get a man his credit and move on and quit hating. But Daniel Dubois, he fought last night. He fought an opponent that was 19 wins and he had like 2 losses. Dude had never fought nobody. He was a virtually unknown opponent, but he had never been stopped. Daniel Dubois, he went in there and he looked good, man. He looked, well, his offense looked good. Daniel Dubois, he went in there and he looked like he went in there to make a statement because it was his first time ever fighting in the U.S. So Daniel Dubois, he wanted to make a statement and he wanted to impress the United States crowd. And that's what he did. He went in there. He didn't waste no time. And you know what I'm saying? He started slugging, throwing big overhand rights, using the hard, stiff jab and following it up with the overhand right. And he caught the dude, you know what I'm saying? He caught what's the dude's name that he fought? He fought Daniel Cusmano. That was his name, Italian cat. Joe Cusmano. He caught Joe Cusmano, you know what I'm saying, with an overhand right on the head and dropped him. You know what I'm saying? Dude got up. He was kind of wobbly. Daniel Dubois went in for the kill. Now, one thing I do notice about Daniel Dubois, if he get in there with another opponent, let's say a big baby Jared Miller or a Frank Sanchez or even maybe a F.A. Jabba, I don't think that Daniel Dubois is ready for none of them dudes. Even Philip Hargrove, you know what I'm saying? Even Philip Hargrove. I think all of them dudes will beat Daniel Dubois because one thing I noticed about Daniel Dubois last night, when he was going in for the kill, he was getting caught with some clean shots. The only thing is that dude that he was fighting last night, he was pretty much a nobody. So Daniel Dubois was getting caught and it wouldn't hurt him. Daniel Dubois don't have no defense. He don't have no defense at all, right? And I ain't gonna lie, Daniel Dubois fooled me. He fooled me for a long time. Yeah, and G5 Gabe hit the nail on the head. He's also very slow. So he telegraphs his punches. You can see him coming for a mile away, right? So if you get in there with one of these other fighters like Big Barry Jared Anderson that can actually move and fight and know how to box and got power, he gonna get his ass toe up. You dig what I'm saying? He gonna get his ass toe up. And if you look at Daniel Dubois' resume, um, his resume is complete trash all the way up until he fought Joe Joyce. Wait, hold on. Let me see. My bad. Let me see. Let me look at Daniel Dubois' resume. Yeah, so Daniel Dubois has his resume is, is real suspect. One fight that I did, what really put me on to Daniel Dubois is when I watched him fight Nathan Gorman. Nathan Gorman, I thought that Nathan Gorman was pretty good, and Daniel Dubois went in there and knocked him out. But Daniel Dubois, you got to match him very carefully because he's slow and he don't have no defense. He can punch. And he's accurate with his punches. You know what I'm saying? He lands his punches accurate, but he's too slow. He don't have no defense. He don't have no footwork. And yeah, he didn't really impress me last night because one thing I noticed is the defense. He's getting hit with shots, slow looping shots that he shouldn't have got caught with coming in. And, if there was somebody like a Wilder or some of these other guys, like even Andrew Ruiz or somebody, he'd be sleeping. And we seen what happened when he fought Joe Joyce. To me, Joe Joyce is not the best heavyweight. Like, Joe Joyce is all right. You know what I'm saying? To me, Joe Joyce, he's not that good himself. Joe Joyce is slow. He don't have no defense. He takes a whole lot of punishment. He don't have no footwork. And he's just, he basic to me. And he was able to, beat Daniel Dubois all night with one punch, and that was the jab. Joe Joyce, if people forget, Joe Joyce beat Daniel Dubois with one hand the whole night. So Daniel Dubois has a whole lot to work on. They better continuously carrying him the right way, being very careful how they match him. And yeah, but he did his thing last night, and I actually won money because I bet that Daniel Dubois would get the first round knockout. So, salute to Daniel Dubois, but he had me fooled for a long time because before he fought Joe Joyce, I thought, I'm not going to lie to y'all, I thought that Daniel Dubois was the next big thing in the heavyweight division. Real talk. I thought that Daniel Dubois was a monster, but that goes to show when you get matched up with the right opponents, you can look like that. That's why some of y'all niggas' favorite fighters that's been going through their whole career so far, and they've been matched up with just the right opponents, and y'all think the world of them, I'm going to tell y'all once again, when you get matched up with the right opponents, you're able to look like that. So y'all can take that for whatever y'all want to take it as. Just remember what I'm saying. And you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to learn you something. Just know that when you get matched up against the right opponents and they match you carefully, they can fool you. They can fool the fans by doing that because I ain't gonna lie, Daniel Dubois fooled me. But so yeah, that was another fight on the undercard last night. Malik says, when you think I'll see, when he said, when you think we'll see EJ in the ring again, Errol Spence? I don't know, man. That's a tough question, man. You just never know because you got to think. Yeah, Errol Spence, he might be cleared, you know what I'm saying? He might be cleared, in 4 or 5 months to continue to go on training again, right? Like light stuff, running and lifting weights and hitting a heavy bag or whatever, right? But we don't know when a doctor, that's up to a doctor to clear him to say, okay, you can get punched in your eye again. So we don't know. We don't know if he's going to be out 7 months, a year and a half. We never know. That's all up to a doctor when the doctor can say it's okay for you to get punched in your eye again. But yeah, so yeah, you know what I'm saying. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's the fight that I really want to get into and talk about is the next fight on the card, right? Is my man Montana Love, right? Montana Love versus Ivan Baranchik, right? In this fight, I broke down this fight for y'all. And when I broke down the fight, I told y'all that I was picking Montana Love. I said that I think that Montana Love could outbox Baranchik. I said because Baranchik has showed in the past that he has problems with guys that have fast feet and that can box very well, right? And I told y'all that Baranchik is a come forward fighter. He trying to get you up out of there. He's a slugger, but he showed in the past that he has problems with guys that have good feet that can box. And I also said that we don't know how Baranchik is going to. I said we don't know how he's going to look after suffering the devastating knockout that he suffered, right? And he didn't only suffer a devastating knockout, right? When he fought Jose Zepeda, he went through a grueling fight. It wasn't like he just got hit with one punch and he was out. I think he was down like 6 times in that fight, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times in that fight, he was down. And that was a grueling fight from the start to the finish, right? And then, he suffered a hellacious knockout. So I told y'all, I said, we don't know how he gonna look. And y'all hit my like button. Everybody in the building hit my like button because they not sending out my notifications. I know because I checked another account and I didn't even get the notification. So the least y'all can do is hit my like button because they not sending out my notifications today. So hit my like button. That's the least thing y'all can do is smash on my like button. YouTube be on that bullshit. They stay on some bullshit and they try to do everything they can to hold you back. So y'all can just hit the like button. That's it. But yeah, so I broke down the fight. But when I broke down the fight, I picked Montana Love to win by decision. I bet on Montana Love to win by decision. Well, I bet on him to win the fight, right? Montana Love was the underdog in the fight, and I bet on Montana Love because I thought that he was going to be able to go in there and outbox Baranchik. Well, I was mostly right. Baranchik came in the beginning of the fight versus Montana Love. Baranchik came in the fight and he was trying to show that he was different. He was trying to be calm and box a little bit, stay behind the jab, go to the body. But Montana Love was just making him look silly. He was, he was making them look silly. And it didn't take too long for Ivan Baranchik to go back to his old style. Going in there like a fucking angry rhinoceros and just going bulling straight towards Montana Love. And when he went to his, the style that he knew best, it actually worked for him a lot better than him sitting back and trying to box because that's just not him. He couldn't do it for too long. So, he went into his old style and he started trying to, bull rush Montana Love, throwing crazy overhand rights, throwing hard ass body shots. But Montana Love was making him look silly. You know what I'm saying? He was making them hit the rope so fucking hard. If y'all go back and watch that fight, Ivan Baranchik, he was missing and hitting the rope so hard. He damn near was, bouncing off the ropes with his own fist and hitting his own self in the face. You know what I'm saying? From the force of the ropes, from missing the shot so hard. So Montana Love was using great footwork. He was boxing the shit out of Baranchik. Baranchik, he did start catching Montana Love, but it was few and far between. Montana Love was he was just like I thought he would. He was a lot better boxer. You know what I'm saying? And it was defeat. What won Montana Love that fight was that Ivan Baranchik has slow feet and he don't have no footwork. Right? Montana Love has great footwork. What won Montana Love that fight was his great footwork. Because Ivan Baranchik would be over here and Montana Love would be way over there, right? He just couldn't catch him. Now, when he did corner Montana Love, he caught him one time. He caught him with a hard-ass shot. He damn near knocked Montana Love out. I know one thing is Baranchik knocked the goddamn Beijing out of Montana Love's head. When he caught him with that motherfucker overhand right in the jaw right before the bell, I'm glad the bell rang because Baranchik caught Montana Love with a hard-ass overhand right on the jaw and knocked all of the Beijing out that nigga head. Montana Love, go back and look at the motherfucker, the replay. Montana Love came in with a full hairline. That Beijing, that Beijing was looking fresh. That nigga Montana Love came in with a full hairline. After the fight, that nigga didn't have no hairline. He had a motherfucking bald spot in the corner of his head. So Baranchik knocked the Beijing out of Montana Love head. But Montana Love, he showed that he was the superior boxer like I thought. You know what I'm saying? He continued to outbox in the beginning of the rounds, right? He frustrated Baranchik. He frustrated him. He was outboxing him. He was being slick. He was catching him with jabs, catching them with straights to the body, catching them with little uppercuts and hooks and turning and, turning them and everything, right? So he frustrated him. And then as the rounds went on, Baranchik, he started getting wild. And when he was getting wild, he was gassing. He would start gassing himself out and he started slowing down, right? Once he slowed down, that's when Montana Love, he kind of, he was standing in front of him more. He stood in front of him. He was catching. Then he started catching with hard shots and dipping off to the side, pivoted to the side, right? But Montana Love, he clowns too fucking much. One thing he was pissing me off because he could have ended the fight a lot earlier than what he did. Montana Love could have ended that fight a lot earlier, but he wants to fucking play too much. I understand you in your hometown and you want to show out for the crowd, but I'm going to let y'all know one thing. All of that showing out that Montana Love did last night, that shit almost cost him the fight. And yeah, y'all hit the like button. Let me see where these likes is at. And Uppercuts Boxing Nation, salute to you. Salute. Y'all make sure that y'all go sub on Facebook to Uppercuts Boxing Nation. And also, what's good with it, Dwayne Mack. And make sure that y'all go sub to Knockout Boxing 86 TV. If y'all ain't sub to Knockout Boxing 86 TV, I don't know what y'all doing. Man, nah. This is ridiculous. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? This is ridiculous. Y'all gotta come with them like button. I'm not even gonna say nothing else until I get more likes than that. This is ridiculous. I end the show. You know what I'm saying? If y'all in here, y'all can't even hit a like button. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to get the likes up. This don't even make no sense. You know what I'm saying? They already don't want to send out my notifications. So like I told y'all before, the least y'all can do is hit the like button. So if you in the background hating this shit, what is you in here for? You know what I'm saying? It ain't no use to being here if you can't smash on the like button. You feel me? Cassandra Mason, salute. What's going on, Cassandra? Salute to the queen. Okay. Now, so, like I said, Montana Love almost cost himself the fight. He almost cost himself the fight because when you got somebody in the ring like Baranchik that's dangerous, they can punch, and you saw that when he fucking caught Montana Love at the end of I forgot what round it was, and knocked the Beijing out that nigga head, right? If Montana Love, that bell saved him. That bell saved him. You dig what I'm saying? I forgot what round it was, but that bell saved him. And at that very moment, he had me scared because I'm like, man, this motherfucker finna blow this fight just because he playing around and he trying to showboat. Like, you can showboat, but what he was doing, he took it too far because he caught Baranchik with knockout blows a couple times and didn't follow up on it. One time he caught him with a nasty uppercut. Baranchik was this close from going. He was this close from going. But instead of following up on it, Montana Love want to put his hands in the air and dance and shit. And I'm like, man, what is you doing? Like, I don't understand. Like, that shit ain't nothing cool about that shit that he was doing. Ain't nothing cool about it. When you have a man hurt, that's Baranchik was crying to go. Like, he was ready to go. And you just kept letting him off the hook. And he did it like 3 times. It ain't like he did it one time. He's like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Next time I get him hurt, I'm gonna make sure I don't do that. He did it 3 times in the fight and almost cost himself the fight because, like I said, he got the Beijing knocked out of his fucking head at the end of one of them rounds. And if it wasn't for the bell ringing, Baranchik probably would have put him to sleep because he was out on his feet. Montana Love was out on his feet. So, you know, I hope he learned from this situation. His corner need to be telling him, like, look, quit all that playing shit. Boxing, you can't play with boxing, especially if you got somebody in the ring like Baranchik. But see, that shows the lack of experience that Montana Love had. Because, see, Montana Love had never been in the ring with the caliber opponent of Baranchik. He never been in a ring with a dangerous opponent before like Baranchik. So his experience wasn't there, right? He got the skills. He got all of that, right? He got great footwork. He has respectable power. He got all of that, but he didn't have the experience because him being in a ring with a whole bunch of like lower class opponents before this, of course, yeah, he was able to get away with that type of shit, right, before. So I don't know, in his head, was he just used to clowning like that? And he thinks that he's going to be able to do that with all opponents. But last night, I hope he learned that I can't play with this boxing shit. And I need to, you know what I'm saying, go ahead. If my food is ready to be eaten, I need to go ahead and eat the food and, you know what I'm saying, get that shit out the way. Because it almost cost him. It almost cost him the fight, and it almost cost me my damn money. But like I said, Montana Love, he looked good last night. He showed his power. But the main thing to me is, yeah, Montana Love does have respectable power, but I think a lot of that has to do with Baranchik, and Baranchik is punch drunk. Y'all can see that if you watch that fight, you can see that Baranchik, he cannot take he can't take punches anymore. You know, he's been through some wars. Baranchik has been through some wars. In the war that we saw him in when he fought Jose Cepeda wasn't the only war. He had been through some wars before that. So Baranchik, the fighting style that he has, is he got some style like, I'm going for it all. I'm swinging for the fences. I'm either going to get you out of there or you're going to get me out of there. And with that fighting style, you can see that he's not going to have a long career, and he's already punch drunk. When you touch him, he goes. You know what I'm saying? He's easily wobbled, and he's just not he just can't take a punch no more. And I think, to me, I think Baranchik needs to hang it up. I think he needs to hang it up because obviously the Jose Cepeda fight and the past wars that he had before that is taking a toll on his career. It's taking a bad toll on his career. And Montana Love, when he fought Montana Love last night, you could see that. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't take no punches. And salute to Rich Mendez in that super chat. What's happening with it? He says, Paul is a novice boxer compared to Woodley, who is hard vet in MMA. A pro boxer will never lose to an MMA guy. There is a technique. And salute to Rich Mendez. Salute to you. But yeah, so Montana Love, man, I was impressed. I was impressed that he was able to show, you know what I'm saying, that he was able to show superb footwork, that he was able to show superb boxing skills. I like the jab that he had. I like when he was using the jab to the body. You know, I like his ring IQ because he noticed, right? It took him a little bit, but he noticed that the uppercut was open. He noticed that Baranchik was open for the uppercut all night. And that was the punch that he started using. And that was the punch that basically ended the fight for Baranchik. And shout out to Baranchik's corner for realizing that he is not the same fighter anymore, that he can't take punches no more. And, you know, why send him back out there, right, after suffering a devastating knockdown where the only reason that you was basically surviving anyway is because the bell rang, right? And you don't send him out there to take more punishment. You know, you don't. He was slowing down, and Montana Love wasn't slowing down. Montana Love's IQ kicked in, and he was seeing that it's certain punches that I can land all day. One was the uppercut, and he can't stop it. And so, you know, Montana Love, he showed his skills. He did his thing. And salute to Montana Love. And he talked about, you know, Tank Davis. He called out Tank Davis. Now, Montana Love would get he'll get, you know what I'm saying, the Beijing, his fucking forehead and everything else knocked off if he go and fight Tank Davis. He's not ready for Tank yet, but we're going to talk about that a little bit more later on in the show when we talk about Tank. So yeah, J.A. Dixon, you know, that fight took a toll on Baranchik. My man Knockout said, if you're gonna showboat, do it while whooping someone ass like Tank did against Pedraza at the end of the fight. Don't stop whooping somebody ass and showboat. Like, you never, like, why would you do that? When a dude is, I'm talking about out on his feet multiple times, and every time you're gonna stop to showboat, like, come on, bro. You know, I hope he learned from that shit, and I hope his corner really, really get on his ass and let him know don't ever pull no shit like that again. Because he was that close to get his ass knocked out. You know. So yeah. So anyway, let's move on. That was a great fight. So like I said, once again, salute to Montana Love. Also, I want to talk about the main event. I want to talk about the main event. You know what I'm saying? Let's get straight into the main event. You know, no. Before I talk about that, I want to give a shout out to Amanda Serrano. Amanda Serrano, she fought a very, very tough opponent. You know, the Mexican girl that she fought was tough. She was very tough. What was her name? Let me pull up her name. Hold on. I can't think of the girl that she fought. Can't think of her name right off the bat. Mercado. Amanda Serrano, she fought Mercado, right? Yelmeth Mercado. And that was a good fight. That was a very good fight. Amanda Serrano, she showed that she is the body snatcher of the women's division. Amanda Serrano, she goes to the body and she sticks to it and she continues to go to the body and she tries to break her opponent down. Now, Mercado was very tough. Mercado was moving up in weight, right? She was moving up in weight, you know, to fight Amanda Serrano, and she showed her toughness. Even though Amanda Serrano was more skilled than Mercado was, She was, overall, she was more skilled. She was stronger and everything, but Mercado wasn't going to lay down. Amanda Serrano hit her with tough, clean body shots. And truthfully, Mercado, she never showed no ill effects from the body shots. She never made no facial expressions. She never looked like she was hurt in the fight. Amanda Serrano caught her with some hard ass, shots on the chin, some hooks and all of that. But Mercado, she kept coming. She kept fighting. She suffered a real bad cut towards the end of the fight, but she never gave up. She never stopped fighting. And, Amanda Serrano's trainer in the corner, her brother-in-law's her trainer, he got to yelling like, stop being a pussy, fight, fight Mexican style, fight all of that. And I'm looking at this shit like, what is this fucking fool talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Mercado didn't back down at all. She was fighting throughout the whole fight. From the first to the 10th round, Mercado was fighting Amanda Serrano. Even though she was getting beat and she was outclassed, she was still fighting. She wasn't running. She wasn't giving up. And, she caught Amanda Serrano with some hard-ass shots, too. Amanda Serrano's face was bruised up, too. So she was catching Amanda Serrano with some shots, but Amanda Serrano, she just showed that, she was a superior fighter. But shout out to Mercado. Mercado can beat a lot of them women, especially in the weight class that she came from. She was already a champion in the weight class that she came from. And I see why she was a champion. She's tough as nails. She's tough as nails. And I would like to see Mercado in the ring again, Obviously, Amanda Serrano, she wants to fight with Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor is a lot bigger than Amanda Serrano, but it'll be a good fight. It'll be a very good fight. I don't know if she could beat Katie Taylor. I'm going to keep it 100. Katie Taylor is, Amanda Serrano will have to move up in weight to fight Katie Taylor. And I don't know if she's strong enough to beat Katie Taylor, because last night she showed me that if she's in the ring with somebody that can really take punches, she might have a problem with somebody like Katie Taylor, because Mercado wasn't folding. Mercado was taking her shots very well. You know what I'm saying? Amanda Serrano really, really never hurt Mercado last night to where you thought that Mercado was on the verge of getting stopped. She never did. Even though that she had a huge gash, a nasty cut under her eye, she was never on the verge of getting stopped. I like Serrano because Serrano shows that she has a great gas tank. She got a motor on her. She continues to come, and she continues to go to the body, and she sticks to her game plan. But I don't know against Katie Taylor, a woman that's a lot bigger than her, and you're going to have to move up in weight. And Katie Taylor can punch. She can box. So that would be a great fight I would like to see. But I don't know if I would favor Amanda Serrano in that fight against Katie Taylor. I really don't. It'd be a close fight, but I don't know if I can favor her against Katie Taylor after what I saw last night. You know what I'm saying? But, shout out to Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. They both, not Katie Taylor. Shout out to Amanda Serrano and Mercado. They both showed out. They put on a great fight for the fans, and they both laid it out on the line last night. And I think it was a good fight. It was a good fight for the fans. Let me see what y'all talking about in the building. 817 Boxing Beat, what's happening with it? Leon Robinson, salute. Yeah, Leon Robinson, they need to definitely make the women's fights, they need to push that shit to 3 rounds. Them 2 rounds is not enough. As soon as one of the women start to working and really get in a groove, then the bell rings. 2 rounds is not enough. Carla S, salute. Salute to you, Carla. She says one judge had it close, 97-93. Are you talking about the Amanda Serrano and Mercado fight? That fight wasn't close, but like I said, Mercado, she gave a good showing. She put on a good showing. Knockout Boxing 86 TV says, bro, she runs through Katie Taylor. That's a shoe shine shit Taylor be doing, ain't going to work against Serrano. Knockout Boxing, if they ever fight, I hope you willing to put your money up on that fight. Because, like I said, it'll be a good fight, a close fight. She's not running through no Katie Taylor. You can't sit up here and tell me that Amanda Serrano runs through Katie Taylor when she didn't even run through Mercado from last night. Like I said, she won the fight clearly, but she ain't even run through Mercado from last night. So how you going to tell me that she going to run through Katie Taylor? She's not running through Katie Taylor. And I'm surprised that you would even say something like that because I know you know boxing. She's not running through Katie Taylor. And Mercado was never ready to go. She was in the ring the whole time. She got hit with some shots, but she was never ready to go. She was never knocked down. She was never wobbly. She was getting caught with some shots, but she was there. She's tough. Mad Chad Boxing, what's happening with it? Salute. And make sure that y'all go sub to my man, Mad Chad Boxing. But yeah, I would love to see that fight between her and Katie Taylor, but it's a much different fight. It's a much different fight, you know. Both Katie Taylor got skills. Katie Taylor does have skills. You know, she can box. She got respectful power. She got power. And Amanda Serrano got skills. She can box. She got power. So it's a good fight. But it ain't no, she's not running through Amanda Serrano. I definitely guarantee that she's not running through no motherfucking, she's not running through no Katie Taylor. PLG Ski says, nah, would be a dog fight, and Serrano don't want none of Shields respectfully. Well, you can't put Serrano in Shields. You can't try to pit them together because Clarissa Shields is way, way bigger than Amanda Serrano. That fight could never happen because the weights are just too, it's just too far. You know what I'm saying? You can't, that fight can't happen. Clarissa Shields and Amanda Serrano, I wouldn't even want to see that fight because that's just like saying, well, you want to see Canelo move up and fight Wilder. Like the weight classes is just too much of a difference. But I don't know. Like I said, I might favor Taylor over Serrano, but it's a good fight because the only reason I would favor is because Serrano would have to move up in weight and go to Katie Taylor's weight class. And Katie Taylor, she ain't no fucking pushover. Yeah, she's not no pushover. Katie Taylor can fight. You know, even though I don't like Katie Taylor, I don't even like Katie Taylor. I really don't. I don't like how they try to, you know, dismiss her and try to say that she's the #1 pound for pound fighter in women's boxing over Clarissa Shields and all of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But nah, because that ain't it. Katie Taylor can't fuck with Clarissa Shields. Period. And she know that. But, you know, and I'm talking about, you know, Katie Taylor is not the same weight class as Clarissa Shields either, but I'm just talking about as far as the skill set and overall. But yeah, you know, Amanda Serrano, she deserves a big fight. She's been in the sport for a long time. She's been calling for these fights for a long time. And I would love to see her in the ring with, you know, somebody. I would love to see her in the ring with somebody like Katie Taylor. She needs a big fight. You know, give her the big fight that she's been asking for. But salute to Jake Paul for giving her the biggest payday of her career. You know, Jake Paul said that everybody that was on that undercard received more money than they ever had in their whole entire boxing career. So we got to salute Jake Paul for doing that, for looking out for these fighters, you know, because if it wasn't for Jake Paul, they wouldn't be on the stage that they was on last night. So I know a lot of people, they hate Jake Paul and he's bad for boxing, but if you look at that shit, he doing good things for these fighters that these other promoters and everybody don't want to pay him. Knockout Boxing says Taylor can definitely fight for sure. Hope Boxing get out the way so me and my homie can talk a little shit to each other. Yeah, man. Like I said, I don't even like Katie Taylor, but I know better than that. I know better than to say some shit like she gonna run through that Amanda Serrano will run through her. Yeah, 817 Boxing B. I really want to see that fight. I want to see Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall for sure. Like, definitely, I want to see that fight. That is the best fight in women's boxing that can happen. I want to see that fight. That is the most competitive fight in women's boxing. That's the best fight in women's boxing. But in order to get that fight, you're going to have to pay Clarissa Shields. She's not going in there for no chump change. Like she said, for that bullshit, she can go to MMA and get more love and make a lot more money. So pay her what she wants. J.A. Dixon says, it's crazy. Jake more solid than a lot of these pros, and they won't even show up to Clarissa Shields' fight. Exactly. J.A. Dixon, Raquel Miller, like, hey, she got the look. She's sexy as hell, but Raquel Miller, dog, I don't know. She don't got the resume to be pitting her against Clarissa Shields yet. You know, she could talk. She's talking herself into that fight, but who has she beat and what has she really done to put her up against Clarissa Shields, you know, or put her in the conversation with Clarissa Shields? But I would like to see that fight just because Raquel Miller has sold the fight, you know, but a lot of people don't know who she is. But, you know, the people that know who Raquel Miller is, she sold that fight. So I would love to see that fight, of course. But it ain't no Katie Taylor. Not Katie Taylor, Savannah Marshall. It ain't no Savannah Marshall. You dig what I'm saying? Knockout say Jake Paul ain't bad for boxing. These new social media fighters not fighting each other. These corrupt ass sanctioning bodies and corrupt ass promoters. Exactly, Knockout. They talking about Jake Paul bad for boxing. No, how boxing is ran, and these fucking sissy ass fighters that's scared to get in there and fucking put their O on the line, and all the other bullshit that's going on with all these bullshit ass belts and these fuck ass sanctioning bodies. That's what's bad for boxing, not Jake Paul. Smooth Groove Boxing said, what's good with it? Smooth Groove off in the building. Salute. He says, this is what boxing is reduced to. Wow. Salute. So we're going to talk about that, right? Exactly, John Kramer. Salute, John. He said, boxing is bad for boxing. So let's talk about that, right? So first, I want to get into the fight last night, the Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley. I had picked Jake Paul to win by decision. A lot of people was picking Jake Paul to knock out Tyron Woodley. A lot of people was picking Tyron Woodley to knock out Jake Paul, right? I was saying from the jump, I told y'all, when I came in here and I talked about the fight and I broke it down, I said that I thought the fight was going to go to distance because I said I didn't see Jake Paul folding like that, and I didn't see Tyron Woodley folding. And I told you, I said Jake Paul can actually box. I said he can actually fight. So, you know, but I was kind of, you know what I'm saying, up in the air because I didn't know what Tyron Woodley was going to look like. I told y'all, a lot of people trying to act like now, right? A lot of y'all don't know shit about MMA, but want to talk about MMA. And a lot of people talking about, oh, well, you know, Tyron Woodley, you know, a guy that's just strictly a wrestler, that you know, he had no stand-up. Y'all don't know shit. Stop talking about shit that you don't know about. Tyron Woodley was not strictly a wrestler. Tyron Woodley came into the MMA, right? When he started, well, I don't know where he first started at, but when he first started fighting on Showtime in the what was that Showtime Strike Force? When he first started fighting in Strike Force way back in the day, right? He was a wrestler. And then Tyron Woodley, he'll tell you himself, he started working on his striking a lot. Tyron Woodley took up boxing and he started doing a lot of boxing training, a lot of striking training. So when Tyron Woodley's MMA career evolved, he was more of a stand-up guy. He didn't wrestle that much no more. He wasn't taking dudes down to the ground. He was winning by knocking motherfuckers' heads off. A lot of Tyron Woodley's fights, the whole fight, all of the 5 rounds were stand-up fights. Tyron Woodley was known towards the middle and end of his career, he was known as a stand-up fighter, not a wrestler. He came in as a wrestler because he had, he came in as an NCAA champion wrestler, right? But he evolved his MMA game and he became more of a stand-up fighter. So a lot of you motherfuckers making videos talking about that Tyron Woodley, a guy that was just strictly a wrestler, that he didn't have no stand-up. You don't know what the fuck you talking about. Stop talking about shit when you don't watch the sport and you don't know. Please. Because when you start talking about that shit and then you go and make these videos and try to break the fighter down and you ain't never really studied what you're talking about, you sound ignorant. Tyron Woodley, he's been, if you follow Tyron Woodley and you know anything, Tyron Woodley has been boxing and sparring for a long time. This is nothing that he just started. Tyron Woodley years ago talked about that he wanted to box. He's been talking about this shit. So stop acting like Tyron Woodley just fucking a couple months ago when he started his training camp, he just started working on his stand-up game. So, and y'all that be watching a lot of these dudes talk about shit that they don't know what they talking about. A lot of these, I'm just telling y'all, a lot of these dudes making these videos, they don't know what the fuck they talking about. Tyron Woodley has been known as a stand-up fighter for quite some time now. He wasn't just all wrestling. So, and he's been training boxing for a long time now. When Tyron Woodley had his long layoff from MMA, I think he took like 2 years off from MMA and he didn't fight. He was training and boxing that whole time. This is a fact. Tyron Woodley is one of my all-time favorite fighters. I fuck with Tyron Woodley heavy, so I know. You know what I'm saying? I watched the UFC ever since the UFC first began, so I know. So stop trying to teach shit and make videos about shit that y'all don't even watch and you don't know shit about. Please and thank you. But yeah, so with that being said, Tyron Woodley, I didn't know how he was gonna look because I know that he has a stand-up game, but a stand-up in UFC is different than stand-up in boxing because you gotta kind of widen your stance and square your stance off a little more in the UFC because you got to prepare for takedowns. But I knew Tyron Woodley would be dangerous. I knew he wasn't going to be like Ben Askren and a lot of these other guys that we've seen try to come from boxing to, from UFC to boxing because he's been training, in boxing for a long time. So I was kind of curious to see what Tyron Woodley was looking like. But I know that Jake Paul has been training and he takes boxing serious. So I was like, okay, I'm going to pick Jake Paul to win by decision. And one thing I said, I'm picking Jake Paul because even if Tyron Woodley beats Jake Paul and it goes to the scorecards, I think that they're going to give the fight to Jake Paul anyway because it's he in his hometown. Right? That's what I thought. But, let's go ahead and talk about the fight. And I see a lot of y'all talking about Tyron Woodley was robbed. And let me read my man comment real quick. Knockout say facts. He says, I'm a casual MMA fan. If it ain't the homie Kamara Usman, who here from Dallas, he says, I don't really he said, yeah, he don't really whack it. He don't really talk about it. Yeah, he don't really talk about it. And that's a smart man because knockout boxing, he's not going to try to talk about some shit that he's not familiar with. And a lot of y'all be doing that shit and you'll get to talking about shit and I'm listening and I'll be like, what the fuck is you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? It sounds good to people that don't know what they talking about, just like you don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, so I thought, that's how the fight would take place. I bet that Jake Paul would win by decision, but I also bet that Tyron Woodley would win by decision, and I actually would have won a lot more money if Tyron Woodley would have won the fight. So when I'm breaking down the fight, I'm giving you my honest assessment that, and I'm gonna let y'all know, a lot of people talking about Tyron Woodley got robbed and Jake Paul lost, and that's some bullshit. Whoever saying that, I'm telling y'all that's some bullshit, because y'all need to take a. I know a lot of people don't like Jake Paul because you just don't like him. For whatever reason, you don't like him. But when you're watching the fight, y'all got to take that dislike out and watch the fight. And just watch the fight, because Jake Paul, it was not no robbery. Woodley did not win that fight last night. Woodley, he didn't throw enough punches, right? Now, I feel that Woodley could have won the fight, right? I feel that Woodley could have won the fight. But Jake Paul was outboxing Woodley. He was landing more shots than Woodley was. He was landing the cleaner shots, and he was actually showing better footwork than Woodley was, even though Jake Paul was slow, but he was using better angles than Woodley was. Now, Woodley did catch him with some shit a couple times. And honestly, if you go back and watch that fight, and I would challenge anybody to watch that fight with me and show me where Woodley won more than 2 or 3 rounds in that fight. Woodley only won, to me, I gave him 3 rounds. I gave him 3 rounds, but I mean, I gave him 2 rounds, but he could have won. You could have gave him 3. One of the rounds was close. Other than that, Woodley ain't win that fucking fight. Now, the knockdown that everybody's saying that's a knockdown, that, you know, Jake Paul was held up against the ropes. Okay, cool. But the judges didn't score that knockdown. So if they didn't score the knockdown, you can't say that fucking it was a knockdown, because the judges didn't score the knockdown. So you can't put that on your scorecard. Even though, like I said, I ride with Woodley. Woodley's one of my all-time favorite fighters in the UFC. But Woodley didn't win that fight. I don't know how people looking at that fight and talking about that Woodley won that fight. He didn't win that fight. He lost the fight. Stop looking at somebody just because you don't like them and because you're rooting against them, and all of a sudden, I don't even like that. That shit's crazy to me how y'all on here talking about Woodley won the fight. Woodley ain't win that fucking fight. Like, I don't understand how y'all saying now, as far as the ref should have knowing the rules and knowing that he should have counted that as a knockdown. Well, yeah, he maybe should have counted it as a knockdown, right? But when I went back and looked at the punch, I don't even think the punch was landed. It wasn't no hard shot landed. It was more like Jake Paul fucking running, tripping over his own self, trying to get out of the way. Watch, I'm gonna look at that shit right now. Hold on, I'm gonna run that knockdown. Hold on, I'm gonna run it back on replay right now. Hold on, I'm gonna run the replay back right now. I want to see it, and I'm gonna show it to y'all. So I'm gonna find the replay, and we're gonna see. I'm gonna show it to y'all right here. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to find where he fell into the ropes, and the ropes held him up. Here it is right here. Here it is right here. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, he caught him. Woodley caught him. Woodley caught him like kind of like on the ear behind the head. Actually, he didn't catch him. He ain't catch him. They showed it in slow-mo. Look, I'm gonna show it to y'all. The shot that y'all talking about, right? The shot that y'all talking about that Jake Paul was so hurt and you know what I'm saying, the ropes held him up. The ropes did hold him up, right? But he didn't get hit clean. He caught the shot on his shoulder, and I'm gonna show it to y'all right now. Show it to y'all right now. See if y'all can, right? I'm gonna show it to y'all right now. Here it is right here. Hold on. You see that? The shot landed on his shoulder. So that's the shot that y'all talking about, that he was hurt and he was almost out. I'm gonna run it back again. See, a lot of y'all don't know what the fuck you be talking about. A lot of y'all just hear other dudes talking and then you gonna go off of what other dudes say. I'm gonna run that back again so you can see that shit. And this ain't me trying to take up for Jake Paul or nobody, right? This ain't me trying to, this is me just stating the facts of what happened. Look at this shit. You can see it clearly. Look. He landed on his shoulder. Now, the ropes did hold him up. So it should have been counted as a knockdown because, you know, the ropes held him up. And I'm going to show it one more time. Damn. Okay, here we go. On the shoulder. Now, you still want to come in here and argue talking about he hit him on the backside of the head. He hit him on the shoulder. The shot glanced off the back of his shoulder. I don't know how you looking at this shit clearly right here, and you still trying to say that it hit him in the head. The shot landed on his shoulder. Look, they're showing it to you right in slow motion. Bam, on the shoulder. It was more the force in him trying to move backwards, stumbling back, that put him into the ropes. So it wasn't no hard ass shot. It wasn't no hard shot that was like, oh, he was almost out. That's a narrative that y'all running with. That shot landed on the shoulder, right? And yeah, it should have been counted as a knockdown because whether it landed on the shoulder or the arm, he still fell back and the ropes held him up. But the reason he fell back and the ropes held him up is because he was more off balance, and then, you know, him trying to get out of the way of the shot. But it wasn't no hard ass shot to where, you know what I'm saying, it was gonna knock him or nobody else out. It was a glancing shot off the back of the shoulder. The shot didn't even connect like that. Knockout Boxer says Paul wasn't hurt. The argument y'all should be making is that Woodley should have been awarded a knockdown, not that Paul was hurt. Exactly. Knockout. I'm glad that you got common sense. Now, I keep telling these dudes in here that, yeah, it should have been awarded a knockdown because it still, you know what I'm saying, it still landed on the part of the body. So if you know boxing, it doesn't matter if it was a clean landed shot. If the ropes hold you up, it still should be landed a knockdown. But so I'm agreeing with that. But what I'm saying is y'all trying to act like, oh, he was hurt. He got hit. He didn't. It was a lancing shot off the fucking shoulder. He wasn't hurt. The shot didn't even land clean. It landed off his shoulder. He wasn't wobbled. He wasn't hurt. He was fucking stumbling back because he was trying to get away from Woodley, and the force from him going backwards and the force of the shot that landed on the shoulder kind of took him back. It wasn't that he was hurt. He blocked the shot. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy how you could put how y'all have so much of a dislike for a person that I could put some shit right in front of y'all face and you still gonna deny it when it's right in front of your face in slow motion. Come on now. PLG Ski, the man was not. How was a shot that I don't understand how common sense ain't common no more. I'm showing it to you. He landed off of the shoulder. Like, I don't understand what you can't see by that. The shot landed, he glanced off of his shoulder. It wasn't a fucking, it wasn't no flush landed shot. I don't understand what's so hard to see about that. But anyway, like I said, he wasn't hurt, but it should have been counted a knockdown. Either way, the referee didn't count it a knockdown. With that being said, Tyron Woodley only won 2 or 3 rounds at most. He wasn't throwing no punches. Jake Paul was way more active. Jake Paul landed way more shots. If you look at the punch stats, anybody that's talking about that Tyron Woodley should have won, Jake Paul landed way more. He landed the cleaner shots. Tyron Woodley was throwing, you know what I'm saying, like the first round, he threw like four punches. Tyron Woodley wasn't throwing enough. And I thought that Tyron Woodley, from what I saw, I think that Tyron Woodley could have won that fight. But for some reason, Tyron Woodley does not let his hands go. And if you know UFC and if you follow Tyron Woodley, he used to do the same shit in the UFC. Tyron Woodley used to do the same shit in the UFC. He would, you know what I'm saying, he would feint and you would see openings for Tyron Woodley. He would be feinting and you would see openings, but he just wouldn't throw no shots. And that's the reason that him and Dana White would get into it all the time in the UFC, is because Dana White would cry and complain about that. He would put Tyron Woodley in these big main events, but he was boring because he just wouldn't let his hands go. So this is not something that just started happening with Tyron Woodley. This is something that's been the issue in Tyron Woodley's whole career, in his MMA career too. So it's not like, oh, well, Tyron Woodley, he just did this in boxing just because, you know, this is his first time in the boxing ring and, you know, this is something that he wasn't familiar to. No, he used to do the same thing in UFC. But if you knew what you was talking about and you actually watched the UFC before you start trying to commentate on shit, you would know that Tyron Woodley has a history of not letting his hands go. That's just what it is. So, yeah, I think that Tyron Woodley could have won the fight last night if he had pressed the action and let his hands go. He was pressing the action, but he wasn't doing anything. So Jake Paul was actually able to, you know, fight on his back foot, use the jab, catch Tyron Woodley coming in with overhands. He caught Tyron Woodley with some big shots. Tyron Woodley even said he caught him with some big shots. But like I told y'all, when I broke down the fight, I told y'all, I said that Tyron Woodley's going to get caught. I said, but I don't see Tyron Woodley folding. I said, because he's tough. I said, if you go watch Tyron Woodley versus Kamaru Usman in the UFC, he took so much of punishment. He took so many big shots in that fight. And Tyron Woodley in that fight with 4-ounce gloves showed that he could take a punch. So Jake Paul wasn't going to get Tyron Woodley up out of there. Now, it was one shot that he hit Tyron Woodley with that wobbled Tyron Woodley. You know what I'm saying? He stunned him, but Tyron Woodley continued to fight because he has a chin. He's used to taking shots. Throughout his whole career, he's taking big shots. So, you know, what Jake Paul hit him with, he's felt shit like that before. It wasn't nothing that he ain't never felt before. So, yeah, man, Tyron Woodley can take a shot. He has, you know, his boxing skills was limited. You know, when he tries to put his combinations together, you could tell that it doesn't flow. Like it's like even when you see him on the mitts, he takes a second to think about the combination before, you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't flow like you see a seasoned veteran fighter do when they put their combinations together and it flow, right? In the ring, when he was trying to put combinations together, they wasn't crisp like that. They didn't flow. But Tyron Woodley, he showed he had power, right? He had power, but his accuracy wasn't there, right? His accuracy wasn't there to catch Jake Paul with the pinpoint accuracy like like seasoned veteran boxers. One thing with a fighter when they get really good is the accuracy, right? They know how to hit you, but they know where to hit you at. Woodley, he gonna get better if he continue to box. And for people that saying that, oh, he's 39, he's not gonna be able to get no better. Yeah, he can get better. He can continue to get better. And I think that Woodley can win a rematch if he lets his hands go. But whatever mental block Woodley has to where he don't let his hands go, he needs to get over that. Because I think that he could have won that fight, but he just wasn't active enough. And I don't know if it was because Woodley he felt Jake Paul's power and he didn't just want to go in and, get caught with something, or if it's just, something in him to where he just can't let his hands go like that. But Woodley didn't win that fight. He ain't win the fight. I don't know what y'all talking about. It was a robbery and all of that. He didn't win the fight. You know what I'm saying? And it turned out like I thought it would turn out. I thought that Jake Paul would beat him on the scorecards, and it was a good fight. It was entertaining. They both showed that they were serious. A lot of people were saying that Woodley was just paid to go in there and lay down, and he showed that all of that shit, the conspiracy theories y'all was coming up with, it was some bullshit. He came in there to win the fight. Jake Paul came in there to fight, and salute to Jake Paul, because a lot of y'all hating on him and talking about he the problem with boxing. No, he not the fucking problem with boxing. Boxing is the problem with boxing. Don't have nothing to do with Jake Paul. Jake Paul actually gave a lot of fighters the biggest payday of their career. Also, Jake Paul, I like Jake Paul. I don't have nothing against Jake Paul. I fuck with Woodley more than I do Jake Paul because I've been a Tyron Woodley fan. But, salute to Jake Paul. If you look at his opponents is actually better than a lot of your favorite fighters' opponents in their first 3 or 4 fights. And that's a fact. Look at some of y'all favorite fighters that y'all like, and look who they was fighting in their first 3 or 4 fights. And they wasn't fighting no 8 rounds neither. So y'all shitting on Jake Paul, when he fight MMA guys. Woodley been a stand-up fighter. Woodley got a stand-up game. What's wrong with that? In the 3rd or 4th fight, how many rounds was your favorite fighter fighting? Who was your favorite fighter fighting? I just talked about Tommy Fury. He was fighting dudes that had 100 and some losses on L's on their record. And he a professional fighter. So quit hating. Quit hating and quit looking at trying to point a finger at guys like Jake Paul to blame why boxing is fucked up, when Jake Paul has nothing to do why the sport of boxing is why it's fucked up right now. Don't got nothing to do with Jake Paul. Before Jake Paul came along, boxing was already fucked up. So stop trying to point and blame Jake Paul and these other guys. They're actually bringing more eyes to boxing. They're bringing more eyes to boxing. How many casual fans knew about Montana Love last night if it wasn't for Jake Paul putting him on the undercard? I'll wait. Let me know. So for everybody that's talking about, oh, this is what boxing has come to, and Jake Paul is trying to act like he's a problem, one of the problems for boxing, let me know. How many casual fans knew who Montana Love was last night before Jake Paul put him on the undercard? So you think that Jake Paul is supposed to get in there with somebody like Canelo or fucking whoever in 3 or 4 fights? That's what y'all crying about? Miss me with that bullshit. Jake Paul, he's getting better. You know what I'm saying? He is he's steady improving. the guy only has like three fights. You feel me? He's steady improving. And if that's what he want to do, if he want to try to become a professional boxer, well, cool. Who the fuck am I to tell that man, oh, you can't do this and you shouldn't be doing this and you don't belong in this sport? Why? What's wrong with y'all? Y'all a bunch of fucking grown-ass men crying about a fucking young kid trying to become a fighter. Why? Why do y'all give a fuck? Why are y'all so mad because this man want to fucking box? That's just like somebody coming in your personal life, some that y'all want to do, and crying and telling y'all shouldn't be doing it. Why? I don't understand that. A bunch of fucking grown-ass men crying about a fucking, essentially a young kid that's like 23, 24, however old he is, crying about something that he want to do, a dream that he has. That's what's wrong with boxing. A bunch of weird-ass fucking grown men that's crying about shit like that, but then they don't fucking complain about their favorite fighter being carried like a pussy. They don't complain about when their favorite fighter is ducking and dodging, and the promoters don't want to put them in with certain opponents because they got plans for their careers and all of that shit. And you clapping for that, but you crying about that. That's what's wrong with fighters. That's what's wrong with boxing. It ain't Jake Paul. So, you know, I don't have no problem with what Jake Paul doing. He doing a lot of good for these fighters that are getting that's getting overlooked, right? And not getting paid. So he doing a lot of good. So, you know, I mean, y'all need to cut the bullshit out. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of y'all, I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. A lot of y'all need to start thinking for yourselves, because y'all will go to certain fucking channels that carry narratives, and then y'all will just go by whatever the fucking other channels that y'all watching is saying. Think for yourself. That's one thing with me. I always been a man that's gonna think for and can't no other grown man tell me how to think. He can't persuade me how to think. I'm gonna go and look at shit for myself, and I'm gonna make my own perception of shit, not what another grown man or another group is doing. Period. But I mean, salute to Jake Paul for what he did. You feel what I'm saying? Salute for what he doing. And if he feel like this is something that he can do, cool. Now, once he gets up to, like, you know, maybe 12, 15 fights, and he's still fighting MMA guys, then you got to have a problem with it. Right? Once he gets up to that point to where he get, you know, 12 to 15 fights under his belt, then I want to see him start fighting, you know, maybe C-level boxers, real fighters in boxing, and continue to work his way up. But right now, the man only got fucking 3 fights, really. The man is only 23, 24 years old. Let him do what the fuck he doing and stop crying like some bitches. Grown-ass men crying and shit about a fucking, some of y'all old as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Crying about a fucking young 23-year-old kid or whatever trying to box. And he backing up what he's saying. Some of y'all don't want to admit that he beat Tyrone Woodley last night. He beat the man. He beat him. Tyrone Woodley didn't do enough. He didn't throw his hands when he could have. He didn't do enough. And if they do have a rematch, right? I would like to see a rematch. It was a good enough fight to see a rematch. It was a competitive fight. The build up to the fight was good. I want to see a rematch, but I'm going to say this, right? As a man, I did not respect what Tyron Woodley did last night, right? I think he did take his loss with dignity because he knows that he should have done more. And you don't get on the fucking, right? This is one thing I didn't respect about Tyron Woodley. You don't get on the microphone and make a fucking million excuses talking about you won and you got robbed and all of that shit, right? And what I didn't respect about it, before the fight, Tyron Woodley and Jake Paul, they made a bet. The loser would have to get a tattoo that says, I love the other fighter on somewhere on their body. The loser would have to get a tattoo, right? They shook on it. They made it an official bet in front of everybody. Now, as a man, if you make a bet, I shouldn't have to fucking do nothing else afterwards. After you lose, that should be it. Whether it's money, whether it's tattoo, whatever it is, a bet is a bet. Jake Paul should not have to promise Tyron Woodley a rematch in order for him to get a tattoo that you already lost the bet that you already should be getting. That shouldn't even been in question. So for Tyron Woodley to say, okay, I'll give you the tattoo that I should already be getting, right? That I already lost the bet. I already, you know what I'm saying? It's already done. I lost the bet, right? Now, oh no, I'm not going to get the tattoo unless you give me a rematch. Nah. And some of y'all that call yourself men, y'all don't see no problem with that. Now, my thing is, a lot of people say, he ain't getting that fucking tattoo. He better not get that tattoo. Why not? He agreed to it. They shook on it. It was a bet. If you are as a man, all you got is your fucking word. Some of y'all don't have no fucking morals. That's what the problem is with some of y'all men that call yourself real men and boxing fans. You don't have no morals. If I bet a man, that's what the fuck it is. If I didn't want to bet, if I thought it was a chance of me losing, and I knew I wasn't gonna do it if I lost, well, it's simple as this. Don't make the bet. You don't make a bet if you know you're not going to go through with it if you happen to lose. If you know that there's any possible chance of you losing, and it's something that you know you're not going to do, well, don't shake that man's hand and don't agree to that bet. You feel me? Because when they made that bet and he shook that man's hand, it was simple as him saying, when the bet was presented to him, he could have been like, nah, I'm not doing that shit. You're not gonna, you for real, you're not gonna talk me into making this bet. That's not a bet I'm gonna make. We can bet on something else. We can put money up stake, but I'm not putting no tattoo on me, so that's not a bet I'm gonna make. But once you shake hands with that man and you make that bet official, I shouldn't have to fucking beg you to pay my money. I shouldn't have to beg you to get the tattoo. So I didn't respect that from Tyron Woodley. Jake Paul shouldn't have to present you with a rematch contract in order for you to get the tattoo that you agreed that you was going to get if you lost the fight, period. Because if Jake Paul had lost, he already had his tattoo artist right there with him. He was going to have to get the tattoo. So if you on here talking about, that shit ain't, he shouldn't have to do that. Well, you ain't got no fucking morals and you don't have no integrity about yourself. You don't have no morals and no integrity about yourself. And you the type of motherfucker that'll run off, that'll make bets that you know that you're not going to pay, and you'll run off on somebody. And I don't respect no man like that. I don't respect nobody like that. That's why anybody that know me, I make bets with people, right? On YouTube, people can come on here and tell you, if I make a bet with you, no matter how much it is, right? I'm going to pay it. Because even if I don't want to pay it, I know that I shouldn't have opened up my mouth and made that bet at the end of the day. Some of y'all motherfuckers can't even look at yourself in the mirror because you know that you ain't got no fucking backbone. You don't have no type of morals. So I didn't respect that, about Tyron Woodley. Even though I rock with Tyron Woodley, I didn't respect the way that he carried himself after the fight. You lost, right? You're a professional MMA fighter. You've been fighting, stand up. I mean, you've been practicing your stand-up game for years. You've been boxing for years. Outside of any sport, you've been training boxing for years, and you lost the fight. You knew that you didn't do enough, right? Stop making excuses. I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, Jake Paul didn't test and all of that shit. Well, if that's the truth, if Jake Paul didn't take no drug test, well, that's on you. You should have you shouldn't have took the fight, or you should have stepped away from the fight once you seen that he wouldn't get drug tested, if that's the truth. Don't come afterwards and start complaining and making excuses because you just lost the fight. You didn't do enough. Now, if Jake Paul decides to give you a rematch, I'm all for it. You dig what I'm saying? I'm all for it. I think it'll be an exciting fight, and I might pick Tyron Woodley to win a rematch. I might pick Tyron Woodley to stop Jake Paul in the rematch, right? We have to see. But be a man about your word, because like I said, at the end of the day, when you don't have money, when everything else is out the window, all the man has is his word. But some of y'all ain't real men, so you would never understand that. John Kramer says, I would not have made a bet like that. Exactly. It's simple as that. Don't make no bets that you know you're not willing to go through with. As simple as that. You got to stand on your word. J.A. Dixon says that should have been motivation for Woodley to throw his hands more. It should have, dog. It should have been motivation. You dig what I'm saying? But and Woodley put it on his mama. You dig what I'm saying? Woodley put it on. He said, I put it on my mama. I'm going to knock this fool out. That's on my mama. After they disrespected my mom, that's on my mama. I'm going to knock him out. So even though if you couldn't get the job done, one thing you don't do is you don't put nothing on your mama or your daddy if you know that it ain't, you can't, you know, if you don't know 150% that you're capable of doing it, which you didn't because you didn't do it. And, you know, I mean, that should have at least been motivation for him to go harder. You put it on your mama. That should have been motivation for you to go harder. You know. But yeah, man, so I fuck with Woodley, but I didn't like how he carried himself after the fight. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like how he carried himself after the fight. Maybe he did all of that because he knew he lost and he was pissed off and he really wants a rematch. So maybe now Woodley is doing this to get under Jake Paul's skin so Jake Paul can give him a rematch. But that tattoo shouldn't be in question. Go get the tattoo. You shouldn't have made the bet. Go get the tattoo. And then if Jake Paul want to give you a rematch, then that's up to him. But the tattoo shouldn't be a factor. The tattoo shouldn't play a factor into whether you get a rematch or not. Period. So that's just how I feel about the situation. But a lot of y'all don't feel me when I'm saying that because y'all will run off on the motherfucker and don't think twice about it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no type of morals. My man Knockout said, I don't owe money to anyone and I ain't never ran off on a bet I lost. Real ones know what's up. Best thing you can say about a man if they keep their word. Exactly. And you can't find nobody on the YouTube community. You can't find nobody in this whole world that say, you know what? Keon owe him money. He owed me money or he ran off on me. Ain't never did it. And if you bet in Vegas, and like I tell people, right? Like I was telling somebody I was talking to last night. I ain't gonna say who it was, right? Because we was going back and forth, and I'm telling him, I said, dude, you don't run off on no bet like that. You know what I'm saying? He's like, well, he shouldn't have to get the tattoo. I said, they shook on it, he agreed. What the fuck you mean he shouldn't have to get it? I said, if you go to Vegas, right, and you place a bet behind that counter, right, and you're not sure And then after you place that bet, you have second thoughts and say, you know what, man, fuck. I couldn't afford to lose that money. Damn. I couldn't afford to lose that money. You can't go back and tell them, you know what, I want my money back. Or if the shit don't turn out your way, you can't go back and be like, you know what, I ain't really want to place that bet. Give me my money back. You can't do that. So I was explaining that, and that ain't the same thing. Then I said it is the fucking same thing. It's all about having integrity, dignity as a man, and standing on your word as a man. And shit like that bothers me. Because people that think like that, I know that you don't have a problem with running off on a bet or not keeping your word. It's not even about money. It's not about none of that shit. It all comes down to, as a man, are you the type of man that I can trust to keep your word on some shit? That's what it is, but, Tyron Woodley, and nobody want to talk about this shit. I didn't feel that shit that Tyron Woodley was doing. I didn't feel that. Everybody talking about, Jake Paul this and the robbery and this. Why y'all ain't talking about how that man didn't want to keep his word on the bet? Now it's, I only get the tattoo if you give me a rematch. No, I don't have to agree to nothing. I don't have to agree to shit. I'll give you a rematch if I fucking feel like getting a rematch, but you gonna get that tattoo. That's like a motherfucker, that's like you losing a bet, right? A motherfucker owe you money, right? From a bet, and he telling you, well, shit, nigga, I ain't gonna pay you your money unless you fucking, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna pay you no money unless you get down and give me fucking 200 push-ups. The fuck? Why I gotta give you 200 push-ups to get you to pay me my money that you owe me because you lost a bet? I don't have to fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. I shouldn't have to negotiate for some shit. Like, Jake Paul shouldn't have to negotiate for some shit that Tyron Woodley should already be doing just because he's a man of his word. So I'm looking for Tyron Woodley to get that tattoo. I'm going to be looking for him to get that tattoo soon. And if he don't, I'm not going to respect Tyron Woodley as being a man of his word. That's just what it is. It's, DP Rocker's principles. As a man, you got to stand on something. J.A. Dixon says he wasn't specific either. It could have been a small ass tattoo or one with invisible ink. Nah, it wasn't no invisible ink, but he wasn't specific. So, like, he didn't say how big the tattoo had to be. He didn't say where the tattoo had to be, right? But you still got to get the tattoo at the end of the day. And that's something I would use to my advantage. Well, I'm going to get the tattoo because I'm a man of my word, but I'm gonna make that motherfucker as little as I can, and I'm gonna make it. I'll put that bitch in the back of my I'll put that bitch in the crease in the back of my kneecap. Right. I love Jake Paul in the crease in the back of my kneecap, somewhere that ain't nobody gonna never see it. You know what I'm saying? Unless one of your women massaging you, they ain't gonna see that shit. And I'm gonna make it real small. I love Jake Paul in the crease in the back of my kneecap. Or the bottom of my motherfucking foot. Now, you know what? I'll put that shit on the bottom of my foot. So every time I walk, I'm stomping on that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'll put that shit on the bottom of my foot. Every time I walk, I'm stomping on Jake Paul's name. Nah, yeah, they did say a permanent tattoo. That's one thing they did say. They said a permanent tattoo. They did make that specific. They said, nah, yeah. Because that was brought up and they was like, nah, a permanent tattoo. So, yeah. But so, yeah, you got to get it, bro. Nah, not the inside of his upper lip because shit, that shit going to hurt too bad. And, you can see that if you ever, put your lip out. You put that shit on the bottom. You put that shit on your heel, the bottom, the heel of your foot, so you can stomp on that bitch every time you think about Jake Paul. Ain't nobody never gonna see it, and that's just what it is. Hey, and at the end of the day, hey, I was a man of my word. I got my tattoo, and let's go ahead and move on about it. Let's move on about it. You know. But anyway, yeah. So that's hold on, y'all. But y'all hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? Y'all smash on my like button. Like I said, they wasn't sending my notifications out today. So make sure that y'all smash on my like button. You know, the least y'all can do, smash on that like button. But so let's go ahead and move on, right? Real quick, and I'm gonna get into this more because we already been an hour and 45 minutes. But real quick, before I get up out of here, I want to talk about Gervonta Tank Davis. I want to talk about Tank Davis, and now they talking about Rolly and Tank Davis. They talking about Rolly and Gervonta Tank Davis fighting each other. That's the fight that we probably gonna see next. Rolly and Gervonta Tank Davis. And for a long time, I've been talking about who is Tank Davis gonna fight next? Who is he gonna fight next? And now it's looking like that's probably the fight that we gonna see. Rolly and Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta Tank Davis recently vacated his belt at 130 pounds. And look like that's what we're going to see, y'all. Now, I'm going to really get in on this subject. But like I said, we already been on here an hour and 46 minutes. So tomorrow, I want y'all to join me tomorrow because this is one of the main topics that I want to cook on tomorrow. Rolly and Tank Davis. I want to talk about how I feel about this. I want to talk about why I think they're gonna make this fight. Why are they making this fight? And you know, we gonna talk about this fight, and I want to get y'all take on how y'all feel about this fight if they do make this fight. I really do. I want to talk about this because like I said, I'm gonna just save my thoughts for tomorrow. Right, because I'm gonna go in on this. I'm gonna really cook on this. So join me tomorrow. Before we get up out of here, make sure that y'all hit my like button. Like I said, hit my like button. Subscribe to Knockout Boxing 86 TV. If you're not already subscribed to him, subscribe to G5 Gabe. Go and subscribe to Bruce Goals. And you know, join me tomorrow because we really gonna cook. We got a lot to cook about. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit my like button, and y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again. And I'm gone.